Welcome to another episode of This Woman Works. I am your host, Mike Patton, and on this episode, episode 43, I am speaking to someone that does literally everything. Yes, she does a lot of different things. We're going to get into those things and more with Miss Sherria Hester, who has graciously joined me for the show. How you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. We're going to get into those many, many wonderful things you do just a little bit later in the show. But of course, with every show, every This Woman Works episode, that is, we do start it out with the Black Girl Magic moment. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about Miss Nia Long. Yes, 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 Miss Nia Long. Of course, plenty of people know her from plenty of different things, but I'm going to give you maybe some information you might not know about her as well. Now, of course, she was born in Brooklyn, New York City, New York. Yes, she was born in Brooklyn. October 30th, 1970. Of course, she was there until she was two. Her parents divorced. She moved to Iowa City, Iowa with her mom. But then when she was seven, she moved to Los Angeles with her mom because her mom was going to get remarried, but that didn't happen. But she ended up staying in Los Angeles as well. So, she goes there. She studied, let's see, ballet, tap, jazz, gymnastics, guitar, and she did acting. All this stuff all the way through high school till she graduated from was it Westchester High School, I believe, or Westchester High School, I believe. But before she graduated high school, she actually got her first acting gig. That was the Brat Patrol in 1986 at 16 years old. Also an episode of 227 when she was 16 years old. And you may be amazed to know that her acting coach was. Anyone want to take a guess? No, I'm kidding. It's Betty Bridges. Betty Bridges was her acting coach, who was the mother of Different Stroke star Todd Bridges. So that was her acting coach growing up. Of course, she did a few things. 1986 with like I mentioned, the Brat Patrol and an episode of 227. But in 1991, that is the year that Miss Nia Long started to take off in her career. Now, in 1991, she became a regular cast member of the soap opera Guiding Light as Catherine Cat Speaks. For those that watched that Guiding Light, which I watched Days of Our Lives and Young and the Restless. That
As
was
the
me.
world turns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I watched. I never really got into that one, but of course, in 1991, of course, Boys in the Hood, Brandy. You got to remember that. Come on,
Legendary.
folks. Legendary role. But of course, that's what kind of got the ball rolling. Of course, she was Lisa on Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and plenty of people don't know she actually was a guest. Was a actress on a different episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, maybe a couple years before she was Lisa.
Hmm.
So she actually played two different actors on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. No one really even
Yeah, I
talks
want to
about
see
that.
this. Like she's
Yeah,
behind the
she
scenes,
definitely.
or
She was in the scene, just nobody realized that she was
nice.
on another like a few years previously was actually a character on The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. She was of course 1995 Debbie on Friday, 1997 Love Jones, Nina Mosley. You cannot forget that character, people. Soul Food. She also was Robin Bird Joseph in that same year. So back to back memorable roles as well. So of course 1999 The Best Man Jordan Armstrong. You can't forget that character. 2000 Big Mama House with Martin Lawrence. 2005 Are We There Yet with Ice Cube. 2013 Best Man Holiday. 2022 The Best Man Final Chapters. I mean, role after role after role. And if you look at Nia Long, you would never think that she was born in 1970. You would think maybe she is still like in her 30s, the way
Okay.
that she looks. I have to salute Miss Nia Long for the longevity of her career. She started her acting career in 1986. I was 4 years old when she started her acting career. And I have to salute her, Miss Nia Long. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I just always admired her beauty for sure. And I knew when she was in a movie, it'd be a good movie. Because she always does her roles really well. And then I love Fridays like crazy. So She's one of the characters I want to be for Halloween one year because, of course, I ran track. So I want to be Debbie one Halloween because I've been Joy and I've been a couple other characters before. Pinky, my mama likes when I do the Pinky role, but I'm gonna be Debbie one Halloween too.
Got you, got you. I got another one I want to be on Halloween, and well, in any of those movies, but I definitely want to be shown off one time for Halloween. That would be a fun
That's
thing to do.
funny.
Yeah, definitely run around. I'm out of meanness. I'm out of bads. But this course, this show is not about me, and I'm not going to talk about showing off anymore. We're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about your journey and how you became who you are. And we're going to start with talking about young Sharia. Now, I've got to ask, where did you grow up?
I was born in Clarksville, Tennessee, but I was raised. My mama literally had me in Clarksville and drove right back to Hopkinsville and raised me there. So I claim,
Hoptown.
yeah, Hoptown. I claim Tennessee and Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky and Tennessee baby. I'm proud of that.
Okay. Oh, so you're a Ken Tennessean. Okay. Ken
Uh,
Tennessean. I know I just
but
created that on the fly. I don't even know what that's
Kentucky
supposed to be.
sports all day though.
So I got to ask, Kentucky or Louisville?
Kentucky, the best, the greatest. I went to
Hey.
WKU. Forgive me to my alma mater, but I grew up watching and had to make a decision very early in life what side of the household I was going to be in, and I chose BBN, the best side.
Hey, there we go. I am a Kentucky basketball fan
Oh,
too. So I like
nice. I wouldn't have
Kentucky.
guessed that.
I like Kentucky men's basketball, I would say.
Yeah, that's as far as it goes, and then I respect the track team because they keep
Hmm.
some great athletes coming out of there. But football, I'm always gonna go with WKU because it's home. Um,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
anything, all things out of Kentucky, Murray, anything when it comes to basketball, I'm rooting for all things Kentucky.
Okay. All right. So you got to tell me, what was it like growing up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky? You say you were a big Kentucky basketball fan. Now, I will tell you, the reason why became a Kentucky basketball fan was
Hmm.
because of one man, and his name was Ron Mercer, actually, because he
Okay.
was from Nashville and went to play for Kentucky. That's how I became a Kentucky fan. But how was it growing up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky? I've never really been there. I've heard of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, but just tell me a little bit about growing up there.
Um, so I grew up. I'm not familiar with all the sides of Nashville, but if I could just best pick what I could relate my neighborhood, I grew up in the South Side. I would relate it to North Nashville. You got your unfortunate side of things going on, and you got historical things that go on. We got people who make moves, shake rooms, shake tables. So we had the best of both worlds. Um, I was a stupid kid, so my grandmama didn't play coming out their yard, but I saw everything that went on in the neighborhood, and I can say I can attribute my hustling mentality to my neighborhood because I do know the main focus was to just provide for families and go and get it by any means necessary. So um, I was fortunate to be protected by my neighborhood, and they saw my gifts and talents, and they nurtured that side of me and always swayed me to follow my gifts and passions and talents, which was sports. I was a tomboy, so I wasn't playing with Barbies and painting my nails all day. I was either reading a book or I was outside on the field, jumping off the porch with my neighbors, riding on the back of a peg bike, hooping, you name it, creating games, creating activities. I taught so many kids how to ride their bike, which is it's ironic that I'm a recreation professional right now, but the whole time as a kid, I was just always active. I was always doing something. So if I wasn't outside playing, I was in practice for some sport because I played three sports growing up.
Okay. All right. So sounds like you were very, very active and very, very known in your community.
Hmm.
With that being said, with all the different things you were doing and just being so active, what was one of the first things that you thought of that you wanted to be when you grew up as a kid?
So before being introduced to sports, I don't know why I remember this so vividly, and what kind of really sparked that comment, but I remember being asked by someone like around age 7. They asked what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, and I said model. Um, I can't, like I said, I didn't play with Barbies. My grandma was definitely a fashionista. So maybe that's kind of what sparked that. But I do remember initially saying that. And then as I became a teenager, I was this huge Sierra fan. So then I thought I wanted to be a dancer, but I realized there wasn't you know how now there's this wave for the dancing dolls, the girls to be majorettes, like it's just a more of a nationwide push. That wasn't a
Mhm.
dance wasn't a your parent really had to see that and pour into that side of you for you to be put in there unless you just joined the dance team or something. But because I played sports, I ended up going more in the sports direction than actually pursuing a dance career. But I do remember initially saying I wanted to be a model and a dancer. So
Mhm.
that's what I said, but I became an athlete.
Got you, got you. Hey, we all have things we want to be when we grow up, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it does not. But of course, we're gonna get into what all you became when you grew up. We're gonna tell everyone what that is. Right, break on This Woman Works.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off all these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get these the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
All right, and we are back on This Woman Works with Miss Sherria Hester. Now, of course, everyone's probably wondering, why do I have a beard wash and beard commercial on a show for black women? Well, let me explain. Reason why that's on here is because, of course, we as men, do we really take care of ourselves very well? No, not really. What's the one reason that a lot of us end up taking better care of ourselves? It's because of the women in our lives, whether it be your girlfriend, your wife, your mama, your sister, your auntie, your cousin, somebody. They looked out for you and said, hey, may want to get that crust out your eye. You may want to put something on your face. Your face is breaking out. That's why the EBO beard butter commercial is on this show. And hopefully some women see it or hear it and will direct their whatever dude is in their life to that way. So there we go. That's why that commercial is on here. But let's get back to the show at hand. Of course, we got to ask you about your career, like I mentioned before the commercial break. Now, for those that aren't aware, can you please give them a rundown of all the wonderful things that you do?
Sure. So we can start with my own
We got plenty
company.
of time. We got plenty of time, by the way. Just want to let you
Thanks. My company is an events, hospitality, and promotions company. So my background is event planning, and then I also was a waitress in between jobs, in between summers in college, and that's what led me to pursue bartending. So that's where the hospitality side comes in. I also help with small businesses, such as my best friend who owns a food truck. So I help work on her food truck. So I put the food wait staff waitressing industry into that hospitality side of things, and then the promo. Because I model, I like to promote brands such as GoMo 270, brand ambassador for different people, and then of course it's just by instinct I like to support people and share what others are doing. So I just categorize that all in one bubble. So that's what my company is. And then my 9 to 5, I'd say, is a recreation and sport professional slash healthcare paraprofessional, because I do have a healthcare background still through recreation. So I've been a hospitality director before. I've been an activity director for a juvenile facility. I have coached. I have um, worked with children who have autism through play therapy. And I'm going to officially announce on here that I will be a camp director in Hopkinsville this summer for a new camp that will be introduced to Hopkinsville. Um, thanks. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited about that. It's in our local, it'll be hosted at our local sportsplex. And that was a full circle moment for me, because as an intern, I helped get the community, rallied the community to be a part of a survey that was part of the marketing analysis to even get the sportsplex built. I was an intern at that time, so it's a full circle moment to be coming back to my community almost 10 years later, as a camp director in that very space. So that is pretty much what I do in a nutshell. And then I officiate. I officiate the Fat Boy League in Nashville, Tennessee. I just started back refereeing this past fall. It's been a while, so I used to do it throughout college, after college actually, and then there was probably a couple of years of gap between me officiating. So I just did a youth league this past fall, and I just did the second week of the Fat Boy Basketball League. Shout out to the Fat Boy Basketball League. So now I have this newfound love for officiating, because I'm crossing paths with people who keep encouraging me to pursue the next levels, such as high school, possibly college. And then I've learned professionals make six figures. So who knows if what this recreation and sports background is going to take me to. But I do love sports, and I do love all things fun and recreation.
All right, if you're taking notes or you're listening, that's a total of 5011 jobs that Sherria has.
Yep,
But
that's the exact number, 11.
but seriously, how did you kind of first get involved in all these things? Because it's a lot of different things that you're doing, and I'm very interested how you kind of organize those and keep those all intact and in order.
It literally falls in my hand. It's almost as if it's like I'm walking in the path. I'm literally walking in the path that was just laid out for me. It just aligns with my personal life. I initially pursued my human services and counseling degree when I first went to college at Lindsey Wilson College, a private college in Columbia, Kentucky, before I even transferred to Western Kentucky. I thought I was going to become a counselor. But when I transferred to Western Kentucky, there was conflicts with what credits were going to be accepted, and it was just going to be a huge issue trying to, because WKU didn't have that specific counseling program. I would have had to do sports psychology or some kind of psychology. So when I took a stats class for sports psychology, I learned really quick that was not my thing with the stats. That it was way too deep in those trenches for me at that time, because now I do want to be a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, where I am basically a counselor through recreation. So I'm using sports, music, arts, crafts, outdoor wellness, horses, you name it, to help provide therapeutic services. So that is another endeavor I want to pursue. So because Lindsey Wilson WKU did not have the counseling program, I learned about recreation. I was like, well, that sounds fun. I can give it a try. Parks and Rec, all things recreation. So that meant being a director to the Y, the Boys and Girls Club, an amusement park, tourism. It's so broad. So I was like, I just know that fits my personality. Let me give that a shot. And I actually started thriving in it. And that's how I learned, yeah, this is definitely for me. And then because I wasn't quite ready to step out into the real world, I went ahead and got my master's in recreation and sport administration, and that's where I concentrated on facility and event management, and became certified in that aspect of the recreation industry and sports industry. And then all of my small jobs, but still meaningful, were like roles at parks and recreation departments. I was a head coach before. Um, and I always found myself being the planner of the friends. I was just naturally the planner. So again, it aligned with everything I did education wise personally. So I was always living out what I pursued in college. So I continued the Parks and Rec route, and then that's Nashville was the game changer for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when I went through a unfortunate event in life, I said I'm done with Kentucky. I've ran out. I can't thrive as a model here. I can't move up from a part-time role in recreation. I gotta go to Nashville, and I know they're getting money out there. And this is before rent was like $3 million. This was when Nashville was was chill. I moved in 2019 to
Mm-hmm.
Nashville, and that's when I started pursuing those higher level roles, and I landed one. Like I said, I was a hospitality director, but prior to that, I was promoted 3 times before getting that role. I was a recreation staff, and then I became an executive assistant to the CEO, and then he created the director of hospitality role, in which I was able to fulfill that role until I moved on to my next role. And I just that's what segued me into healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So um, fast forward everything in between, if there was a gap in between my job, I was an event staff at Bridgestone, or I was a
Mm-hmm.
wait staff for some organization, and they needed, the people to plate, bring out plated dinners and stuff. So I had my little odd jobs within the hospitality industry. This is
Mm-hmm.
also how I realized, because I was having the gaps in between my job, I needed to create something for myself, because these jobs to be in leadership roles are hard to come by, and they're competitive, especially in Nashville. So that's when I created my business and had to get creative with the event planning. People would collaborate, such as Jared Smith, Slim Did It promo. I don't know if that rings a bell, but it was really Nashville that helped me propel in every aspect, as far as the event planning, hospitality, and then the segue into healthcare and using my recreation skills in healthcare. And then I relocated to West Tennessee, and I became an activity director for juveniles for a couple of years. And that was probably one of my most fulfilling jobs. So I got to give a lot of my credit to Tennessee, because there was a lot of people who believed in me, didn't know me from a can of paint, and just hired me to to plan their events, to manage certain things related to their event. I've been brand ambassadors for a lot of people in Tennessee, a brand ambassador for a lot of people in Tennessee. Um, that's where my professional Tennessee. I credit Tennessee for my professional growth, and then all of my athleticism experiences were really based out of Kentucky.
Okay. All right. All right. So, just within all of those different things that you have done, like we mentioned, we talked about, we jokingly talked about, 50, 11 jobs, but um, what was the one moment you felt like I'm where I'm supposed to be?
Each
Doing all
job
these
is
different
just
things
additional
and.
confirmation. For sure, like the first that role, that company in Nashville where I became a director, hospitality director. There was an assisted living. COVID was 2020,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of families were torn apart at that point. The elderly was definitely already impacted prior to the shutdown, because we were limiting the visits, the distance, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, elderly people are still passing away, or they expect to see their family. They're not really grasping um, the outside world per se, because it's assisted living. These people are still they still have the means to make some of the decisions in their life. So that was a difficult time, but a fulfilling time because I was the recreation, I was hospitality. So I still had these ice cream socials and still making things themed and as fun as we can make it. And I knew to use FaceTime, so I could at least do FaceTime visits with the residents and their family. So that moment um, was a lot of work, but it was very fulfilling. So
Mm.
that was when I definitely knew I got attached to those people too. They became family. So that's definitely one of the roles I had that made me realize I was in the right lane.
Okay, all right. Now with any journey, there's going to be some bumps in the road, some hurdles, things like that you have to go over. We're going to kind of discuss those hurdles and some advice that you either received or could give out to someone. We're going to do that, but of course, first another commercial break on This Woman
Okay.
Works.
Okay.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, and we are back on This Woman Works. And like I mentioned before the commercial break, I want to talk about some hurdles and some advice from you to the people, of course. All right, so along your journey, of course, there's always going to be, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for anyone's journey. There's always some dark days, some clouds, some rain, before that sunshine. So, what's one of the biggest hurdles that you've kind of had during your career journey?
Um, I had to accept that who I expected to be my biggest cheerleaders weren't those people, and to embrace who was showing up and cheering me on in some form of fashion instead of dwelling on who I thought it was supposed to be and using that as a reason not to pursue what I want to pursue, even though I was wanting to take these people with me. But it's hard to take them with me because you know where to be found in the journey. So once I overcame that and just accepted that um, those people that you think starting off, even from childhood, is supposed to be along the way. Once you accept that that's just part of life's journey, it's gonna make navigating it much more easier when you come to terms with understanding that those people you thought are supposed to be there may not, and it's okay if
Mm-hmm.
they're not still there. So once I was like, it's okay, that's when things got a little bit more easier to navigate because I found myself um, setting expectations for certain things and thinking and setting certain considering something a success because of reactions from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So accepting that the I need to embrace who's actually showing up and being present instead of dwelling on who's not. That's one of my biggest lessons.
Got you. Now, and you know, accepting that and learning that, how did you kind of overcome that? Because I know it didn't just happen overnight, correct? So, how
Right.
did you kind of overcome that and kind of walk yourself or talk yourself through those different emotions and feelings to move towards the resolution?
Having that safe space. So in a nutshell, mental health. So finding that village, that support team, that group, whatever it looks like, that therapist, whoever it is, where you can lay out all of those feelings because they're valid no matter how small, crazy, or whatever you think it may sound. There is somebody somewhere willing to or can relate to what you've experienced. So once you find something or somebody to connect that dot with, use that to get those feelings out and work through it. Because that's what got me through it, was just having the safe space, the support team, those people that poured into me,
Hmm.
um, to overcome it. What was it? Did you ask another? What was it? Was it my tip? What did you ask me? The
No, no,
outside
no,
of,
no. That's just how you overcame it. That's
yeah,
all.
and just, yeah, finding that safe space, and then without the people too, find your
Hmm.
own individual coping, healthy coping method too. So if that's reading, writing, dancing, finding that thing for you too internally, like without relying on um a safety net or a village, is helpful too, because everybody may not always be available in that moment you're
Hmm.
experiencing something or thinking something. So instead of resorting to um, uh, some poor habit
Hmm.
and falling into a dark space, finding that healthy coping method. Without those two things, I feel like I could have been in some really dark spaces in my life from a couple experiences.
Okay. All right. Well, we're glad you're not. Glad you're in a happy space. What's the biggest bit of advice you received along your journey? You've done a lot of different things and you've dove into a lot of different things. So I know there had to be some advice along the way during that journey.
Protect your peace. Big on heavy on protecting my peace. Especially, and um, I'm not saying I don't even have terror or horror stories, but as a female who work in a lot of male dominated spaces, because I
Hmm.
did forget to mention that I am an assistant to an independent label in Nashville, A&G Music Group. The
Okay.
entertainment side, the entertainment modeling side, sports side. It's a lot. I'm glad to see the rise in women's business. Shout out to the work you're doing too, women's sports. That wasn't always the case. Growing up, I always saw men leading certain roles, being in certain positions, calling certain shots. Growing up, coming into the industries that I was inserting myself in, so I had to learn how to set those boundaries very early and protect my peace, because you can give up or quit or find yourself making some poor, bad decisions that'll come back and make you pay for it in the long run. So, protecting your peace, I learned very early how important it is to protect your peace and setting boundaries.
Okay. All right. And what's someone that may have an interest in some of the careers that you have done and some of the things you have done, whether it be your business or hospitality or entertainment or just anything that you have done working with kids with autism. What would be some advice you can give to those folks that may want to follow in your path?
Um, if you're gonna commit to something, commit to it 100%. Especially when it's a role where you are responsible for, um, when people are expecting a good time, a good, um, because it's recreation. It's about boosting morale. So
Hmm.
be genuine in everything you do, and be passionate, be committed, and don't take the pushback and the challenges personal. It's just a part of the game. It comes with long nights. It's not even a This is not one of those roles where you know you're gonna do this from 9 to 5. There's some roles where you get to start in the morning and you done at 5 in the evening. This is one of those things where you may not get any sleep. I planned for the 2017 solar eclipse that happened in Hopkinsville. NASA designated number one viewing location in the world, and tourists from all over the world was coming in. It was long nights, long days, bartending. You might bartend early in the day, you might bartend later in the night. So just knowing your setting your boundaries, knowing when you have the capacity to do something and when you don't, be realistic about it. If your plate's full, your plate's full. And then if you're gonna commit to it, commit all the way. Go all the way through with whatever it is, because it's a lot that can come at you to um, discourage you and
Hmm.
disappoint you. So gotta have
Okay.
some thick skin.
There we have it. There we have it. Well, Sharia, I want to thank you for coming on the show, but of course, we're not done just yet. There is something called the speed round where I have 10 questions, 10 random questions to allow the viewers and listeners of the show to get to know you a little more. Are you ready?
Okay, game time. Take my glasses off. It's like I'm
Uh oh.
game time now.
She means business now.
Yep.
All right. What's your favorite song?
Ooh. You want a specific song?
If you have one, if not, hey, that's okay.
Because I was gonna say all things future. It's probably nothing that he's created that I don't know.
Well, I will say this just because it's March, let's say March Madness
Yes.
then. All
Hmm.
right. Your favorite movie?
All the Fridays. Next Friday specifically.
Okay. All right. Well, we know who this answer may be, but favorite artist right now?
Mm,
Yeah, Future. Probably,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Best childhood memory?
Best childhood memory. Um, we were always out of school on my birthday as a kid because I was born in February and it was always a snow day. So most times it was a snow day.
Okay. All right. Worst movie you've ever seen?
Mm. I don't remember the title of it, but I don't like the way a Tubi. It was a Tubi movie that was good, and I don't like the way it ended. So I'm gonna just
Uh,
say a Tubi movie is the worst because they
mhm.
let me down in
Okay.
different ways.
Got you. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Favorite song of rotation right now?
What have I been playing a lot? Some new Money Man called Making Model.
Okay. All right. All right. Had to peep that one. Favorite food?
Wings.
Wings. Okay. Now we going drums and flats.
Both of them. And I want
Both
ranch
of
and
them.
blue. And I want ranch and blue cheese.
Okay. All right. If you could sit down with one person and eat dinner and pick their brain, who would that person be? That person could be dead or alive.
Mm. Ooh, a person, a celebrity, or just anybody.
Anybody. Can be a celebrity or not.
Mm. I'm gonna say Bell Hooks. You ever heard of Bell Hooks?
Uh-huh.
She's from my hometown. I never got to meet her. She recently passed, like in the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I got to pick her brain. She's from Hopkinsville.
Okay. All right. Um, favorite restaurant?
I said my favorite food is wings. I don't want that to
Mm-hmm.
be the restaurant of choice when I say it's my favorite. I'm gonna say anything high end with a good steak option.
Ah, okay. All right. And this last one is gonna be fun. Who would play you in a biopic?
If we're going off looks, they say Deborah Cox and I look alike.
Ah, nobody's supposed to be here. Okay, sorry, I
Mm-hmm.
had to do that one time. Even though I know I can't sing. But so Deborah Cox, okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
hey, I remember seeing her in a movie actually on BET where she was playing a singer. And let's see. Who was it? Somebody Anthony Hamilton was like her husband or boyfriend and he died and they were
That
trying to figure out who did it.
picture, that there's a picture from that movie. People kept saying, they kept sending it to me, saying at, at a glance, they were thought it was me, and
Oh
we do
wow.
resemble. And I posted on my Instagram, and she commented and was like, "I do see the resemblance."
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a heck of a way to end the speed round. You're off the hot seat. We've reached the end of the show. I want to thank you for coming on the show and giving us, a glimpse into your journey to where you are now from where you started as well. Um, I want to kind of give the floor to you. Let you tell everyone where they can find you on social media and all things that you are working on currently. The floor is yours.
Cool. You can add me as Ria Hester, so RIA Hester on Facebook, or follow me whichever button you hit. And then Instagram is actually the Surreal Experience. So all things associated with my business, modeling, and so forth are tagged on that as well. Um, and before I get into anything that I have coming up, I just want to thank you also for allowing me to have some time on your platform and keep up the great work on what you're doing with the women's basketball. I'm watching you in that. And happy belated birthday because it was yesterday, right?
All right. Right.
Um,
Thank you.
so yeah, shout out to you. But I don't know. I have this feeling I'm about to end up back because I'm currently in West Tennessee. I could possibly end up back in the Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee area. And if I do, I'm considering going back out for the Tennessee Trojans women's football team because I made the team actually when they first introduced themselves to
Hmm.
Nashville, but that's when I relocated to West Tennessee. So I would like to give that one more shot. My athletic dreams. I got a teammate running track in Tampa, Florida. She's like, I'm waiting on you. So I want to give some kind of sport something a shot personally. Other than that, I would just like to continue collaborating with other creatives, other businesses who want to put their businesses in the spotlight in the form of an event, or if I could offer some sort of hospitality service. I'm booked for bartending often, so book your date as soon as possible. And then if you need me to assist with any promotional things in the form of a brand ambassador, a model, and I do work with the youth a lot, so
Hmm.
I'm there in that capacity to an extent. So yeah, I'm just open to new ideas and collaborations and having a good time, creating experiences, the surreal experience.
Okay. Nice way to tie it up all in a bow at the end, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. Of course, if anyone's looking for me, you can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter. Yes, I will not call it X because the only X I recognize is DMX and Malcolm X. That's it. You can find me on there at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePaton 82. Of course, you can find me on Blue Sky, same thing. You can find me on Instagram and threads at that's THA, not THE, _general_NP. This woman works. You can find on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. Also, we are on YouTube at the Mike Patton Network. I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of This Woman Works, episode 43. I can do everything, which Sherria Hester has said she can do everything. If you listen to the show,
It's,
you
it's
would
tatted.
hear it's tatted too.
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Well,
It's
there
on
we
my
have it.
shoulder.
There we have it. There we
Mm.
go. There we go. All right, we've reached the end of the show. We're out. Peace.